Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. This is a bonus episode. Kev and George brought you the Crystal Palace Aston Villa preview from a Villa point of view. But myself and Martin and our special guest Rich from Eagle Eye Football are going to give you the opposition view from a Crystal Palace point of view. So welcome, Rich, to the Villa Park podcast. I know we've been on yours. I was on last season. Martin was on yesterday. So thank you for returning the favour, mate.
No, that's something that had to be done. Long time coming as well, I'd say.
Yes, mate. Yes, I know. I know. I think it was before the away game last season, wasn't it, that I came on? So it's probably about almost a year ago. And then, as I say, Martin, who joined the pod shortly after that, has been on. Was it yesterday, Martin? And I think you got treated to a bit of banter, should we say?
Yeah, a bit. A bit. I was baited. I had work originally, right? And then all of a sudden the bus came perfectly on time. I was like, right, I'll be able to make it. So I told Rich, I'll be there, don't worry. The first thing that's mentioned is our winger, Leon Bailey, and how shite his rapping is. Right? Now, in fairness, I think it was like the first 5 seconds, I was like, actually, you know what? He's actually quite decent. And all of a sudden, it just went to shit, and I was like, and then they reloaded it because Brush came back on, and Rich here, he got like a piece of paper and like, reloaded, right?
Yeah,
And then they reload it, and then I'm there like this. I didn't know that they were doing they were doing one bit by one. And all of a sudden I hear them laughing. I said, what are you laughing at? And then all of a sudden it's me on the screen all together. I'm like, oh.
To be fair, it's like when anyone who thinks that they're good at rapping or freestyling or whatever tries it, and then the first two lines it's brilliant, but then you just run out of things to say. So you start rhyming random words like.
He just kept going. Push you.
Yeah.
You know what it was? He actually started off pretty decent.
He did, didn't he? He actually started off.
And then it was like brain freeze.
Yeah. It's when you get an appreciation for actual MCs and rappers, when you think you pass those first two lines and then you go, cat sat on the mat with a hat. Because and then everyone just says the same stuff. So yeah. Well, anyway, we have to give 10 out of 10 to Leon Bailey for effort, and yeah, hopefully if he gets on or gets a start tomorrow.
I would say 10 out of 10 for his drinking, because he had some bravery after a few hands.
Yeah, he looked well served. He definitely looked well served there. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into the game, boys. 3 p.m. Saturday, Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. Always an entertaining game. And the last two meetings last season, Villa obviously came out on top at Selhurst Park in Steven Gerrard's second game, and it was 1-1 draw in sort of an end of season game, really, Rich, where both teams didn't really have much to lose, but it was quite a competitive game. So, yeah, what are you expecting from tomorrow?
Yeah, you know what? We it was quite a frustrating period when we lost to at Selhurst Park. It was because I think every time we were about to play someone, the manager got sacked. So there was like a new manager bounce. I think it happened with Newcastle, and a few other clubs. But in all fairness, we were terrible. We were terrible at Selhurst Park. But I would also like to get, for me personally, I'll give credit to opposition. You didn't give us any space to breathe at all, you know, which actually led to Vieira trying out a three at the back at Villa Park. And I think we coped very well against you at Villa Park. Like you said, it wasn't the most thrilling of games, but it was a game where I think there was quality, but there was no quality in the final third, personally. Obviously, Mark Gay scored the own goal, which there was a foul in there, but wasn't given. And obviously, Schlupp, I believe it was, equalised. So in all fairness, I think the one thing that's riding for us and going in our favour is that I'm sure we can't be as bad as we were at Sellers Park last season. You know, another thing that obviously helps is we got a wicked point against Liverpool. Such a big result. Our performance was amazing. So hopefully we'll take the game to you tomorrow, because I'll be annoyed if we don't. If we take it to you, we lose. Fair enough. We got to hold our hands up. But if we play as badly as we did last year, that'll be so frustrating.
Yeah. Martin, what are your sort of thoughts on tomorrow's game in terms of, you know, Villa coming up against a pretty strong Palace side? If I remember right from last season, I just looked at the physicality of Palace when they came to Villa Park, and that only seems to have improved for them this season, which we'll get into a little bit more later on. But yeah, what are your sort of initial thoughts on facing Crystal Palace so early in the season?
Yeah, it's look, it's just the way the fixture list goes. Anybody can get anybody. You see there, with Liverpool getting Man United third game in the season. That's very rare. So, but last season in Villa Park, I was there sitting in the whole end, and I just remember Palace just being very good, and Anderson was having a field day with them long balls. You know, just left and right, and very commanding of his area. Conor Gallagher, he's a really good player. He was box to box. He didn't stop running. You know, and Rich was right. It wasn't a game where the final third was just lacking. But like the midfield battle was really good and it was very even. So like a draw was a fair reflection. Like it would have been harsh for us to come away with a 1-0 win, but they got an equaliser in the end. And I was kind of hoping it was offside because I was sitting on the opposite end where they scored. So I was really hoping there might have been an offside there somewhere, but there wasn't. So, but a draw was a fair reflection. And coming up now to them so early, look, anything can happen. You know, we could win and all of a sudden we're in a Champions League spot, or Palace win and all of a sudden now they're top half, because that's just how this start of the season goes. You know, it's constantly changing, teams constantly changing. You lose one game, you might be sitting fourth and you're going down to 10th, or you win 10th and you're going to fourth. It's a tricky one.
It's very early days in the season, isn't it? And you can't really tell anything. I mean, a lot of them say six games in, but I think it's even more than that. I think it's probably like 8 to 10 games these days. You know,
I generally say it's, for me, like, we live in Ireland. Like, you obviously are so close to the club, you would know more stuff probably. But like being in Ireland, we always say when it comes to Christmas, we know what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, because we look at Villa when they won 4 to 4 games. It was a kazoo derby, who was going to win the league or something, like, you know, and then it flopped, because that's just, you have to have a good momentum. You need that. And then there's going to be a World Cup break as well. So what way will the table look before then? Who knows? So it's all up for grabs.
It's going to be really topsy-turvy. Rich, yeah, I mean, obviously we get really nervous for these games, and you know, there's so much riding on it. I think a lot of it's the hype, you know, the Premier League and all that. But you know, Martin's right. It's so early in the season to be reading anything too much into, you know, into a result either way, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the only reason why this game is such a high pressure game at the moment is just because of the caliber of managers and there's my princesses. The caliber of the managers and the expectations of both clubs. Like, all of a sudden, we're expected to do so much more than we may have in the past. Why are my girls arguing? So it's one of those ones where, like I said, if we don't win tomorrow, I'm not looking at Vieira in any way. I'm just vexed.
Yeah.
We then got City afterwards. So if I feel this is a must-win game for us, because to start with Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, City, then I believe it's Brentford, Newcastle, and I know Chelsea's in that, Brighton's in that, Man United as well. We've got a terrible run-in. So these
Man United's easy, Rich. Let's behave yourself now, okay?
We know that they're struggling now. But remember, you're talking about the 6, 7, 8 games?
Yeah.
That's when we face them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's key.
No, I agree. Well, on that with the managers, obviously we it's two Premier League legends, heavyweights, whatever you want to call it, Steven Gerrard against Patrick Vieira. Rich, for you first, I mean, it's interesting you're saying that about kind of the expectations and that little bit of added pressure. And I think we're probably similar clubs in that sense. So how do you assess kind of Vieira and the job that he's done at Palace?
It's brilliant. It's so good. I've said time and time again, Roy Hodgson, thank you so much for stabilizing us. But we just became a club in the Prem, like with like no ambition to say the least. And now we're looking at like, okay, we're playing good football. We're giving all the top teams a very good goal. I think our problem is the teams that we should be beating. That's how crazy it is. We're actually out, not I wouldn't say outplaying, but playing toe to toe against the bigger teams and doing the absolute nonsense against the ones that are in and around us. But he's done a great job of changing our philosophy, our recruitment with getting some young, unproven talent, from the Championship especially, has been phenomenal. At dirt cheap as well. I know as a fan base we can be very impatient because I think we all know what we need, but our director of football, he knows how to get the best for nothing. Apparently, and I say apparently, Hassan Aouar potentially could be coming to us for like 12.5 mil. He was linked to Arsenal and Man United, I'm sure, about 2-3 seasons ago for like 40 plus.
60 million.
Like it's unbelievable the business we could be doing. And I think Vieira has a factor. I think there's a lot of players out there saying, I would like to play under Patrick Vieira.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's the same for you guys with Gerrard. It's like,
do you think that transpires to Steven Gerrard, which obviously the parallels are so similar with what you're saying about the kind of attraction of the players, the kind of the taking to the next level, like pinning your hopes on like this Premier League legend to take us to the next level. So yeah, what do you think about that in relation to Villa and Gerrard? Is that very, would you say that's a similar situation?
Absolutely. But don't get me wrong, Villa are a much bigger club than Palace are. Stature, finance, all that. So to add someone like Steven Gerrard in, it's just like, okay, so I can play for Aston Villa, who are a big club, like with European history, and play with Steven Gerrard as my manager. You've got the likes of like Kamara coming from Ligue 1, who's touted to go absolutely anywhere he wanted. He's gone Villa. Coutinho, he's been Liverpool, Bayern, Barcelona, at Villa. Do you understand? So it's kind of like Villa are a big club. Now that leads me on to your gaffer. He's under pressure. He's under a lot of pressure because you know what? Frank Lampard, and I don't rate him at all, by the way, as a coach, Frank Lampard. But he gets a lot of stick.
Sorry, Matthew, if you're watching, he just said he doesn't rate Frank.
Matt knows this.
I'm just saying, Matthew, we're all saying it. We're all in agreement here. So if you're watching the show,
as a coach, I do not rate Lampard at all. All right? Gerrard, I do. He's done a great job at Rangers. I can see what he wants to do. But he's got to get the results in. Because he's spent a ton of money. I mean, Everton are now spending under like Lampard regime. But and he's kind of gone under the radar because his record hasn't been great.
It's funny. It's interesting you say that because I was interested to look at the kind of stats and the kind of. You're right. In Lampard seems to get the stick. Gerrard's kind of in the middle, and Vieira seems to get like all the credit. Now I get it, like the expectations of the club, the fan base, all that sort of stuff. But if we see this, let me just share my screen. 2 seconds. So Vieira last season is managed 38, 111, 1.26 points per game. Gerrard in the Premier League was managed 27, 110, was 1.3 points per game. So very, very, very similar in terms of their their rates, and then obviously this season he's 1.5 points per game.
Mm.
Now, obviously he's getting a hell of a lot of stick for, or under a lot of pressure, and Vieira's getting a hell of a lot of credit for what he's done for Palace. But in terms of record, Gerrard's marginally better.
You know why that is? It's because of how we used to play football.
Yeah.
That plays a massive factor. Like, literally, we were part of the bus, and we only had either Eze or Saha to rely on. You know, and we weren't scoring many goals either. So, and now when you think about the players he's got out, like at the time, like the Cahill, Connor Wickhams, some real aging players, Andros Townsend and such, and then brings in Elise, Edouard. You know, Mateta had a new lease of life. It's all just down to the coaching. So, okay, statistically, cool, they're similar. But I think Vieira has worked wonders with, one, a young squad, and two, the players that Roy Hodgson couldn't get a tune out of.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Martin, what about yourself in terms of, the Vieira impact compared to the Gerrard impact? And do you think, Richard's raised some great points there. Do you think like the kind of pressure or that sort of fickle nature of Villa fans as kind of led to the impact that, the pressure that's been put on Gerrard?
I think it's all media hype at this minute with the pressure on Gerrard. You have to remember when he came in. Like Vieira, he came in before the season started and it was a bit of a shambles, players leaving left, right, centre, and he basically built his team. He had to build a team, and he built a very good team. Gerrard came in the middle of a season with a team that he had to play that had 2 or 3 different generations of managers. Dean Smith, Bruce, any manager that came before. Gerrard was working with that. And what you were touching on there, Rich, that, like that Gerrard needs the players. He does, but he doesn't need a lot. He needs a position here, there, and there. And then the fact that you came up and said, "Oh, he spent a lot of money." You have to remember, Villa received a lot of income this transfer window. Our net spend this window is only 7 million. So yes, we've spent, but we've equally got the same money in. So we haven't. So there's still money there for us to go buy a number 8 and now a centre back again because Carlos.
Yeah.
And potentially a striker, which I don't want to see, to be honest with you, because I want to see Cameron Archer get a chance. So, but with Gerrard pressure, like, I don't think Gerrard is under as much pressure as people think. Look at what the job he done at Rangers. He didn't build that foundation he had there within one season. It took him time to implement his style. It took time for them to close the gap on Celtic and eventually overtake them and do very well in Europe. It's going to be the same for Villa. And I think a lot of Villa fans seem to forget where we were 3 or 4 years ago, nearly on the brink of extinction with an ownership of Tony Exia. And to now, where we have big owners who are, I think, the 5th richest owners in the league. And it's going to take time to build a squad because we have to remember we're competing with the likes of Man City's, Liverpool's, regardless of the situation with the Glazers at Man United. They're still spending money to get players in. Chelsea, Newcastle now, well, West Ham, so
Palace.
Palace.
I wish we had money like that.
Sorry, but and at the minute, Gerrard just needs that time because he had it at Rangers. Villa fans need to do the same with us because it's the Premier League. It's a much harder league in Scotland. I think it took him 3 years to do it in Rangers.
Yeah. I think also
here in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I think also we had such a roller coaster last season where it was like win 2, lose 3, win 3, lose 2, and you just want to be a little bit more boring and just draw a couple of games in the middle of that, and hopefully we can just be a little bit more settled this season. Rich, Gary's put a comment here. I think Vieira's implemented his system quicker than Gerrard and Lampard at the minute, and now you touched on that about kind of the quality of the coaching and the sort of speed at which he seemed to get these young players gelling. So yeah, would you are you fully in agreement with that in terms of how Vieira has implemented his style?
Yeah, because you know what, I would take Lampard out of this equation completely because he's had enough time in English football. You know, and
Actually,
he's still
we're excluding Lampard from this situation.
he's had enough time in English football and he still don't have a style of play. It's ridiculous. Obviously, I completely misjudged the whole aspect of Gerrard actually did start later than obviously Vieira did in the Prem, and it's weird because obviously when Vieira first stepped in, even though we had a pre-season, we had a centre backs were Scott Dan and Tompkins, I think, in one of his first pre-season
And he was
games.
bound to be sacked first as well, wasn't he?
Say again, yeah,
Vieira
he was tipped to be sacked first, yeah.
as well when he came in.
But to think we had Scott Dan and Tompkins as our centre backs for a pre-season game, and he had them playing out from the back. Now look at the improvement we've got now with Gay and Anderson. So yeah, I think it has quicker, and I just think it's a bit more evident, and I think that also it's because of, like I said, we were so bad at the Hodgson, as in like, playing wise, but we were very solid defensively.
Yeah.
So that definitely helped.
Nice one. So yeah, so obviously, we the managers, I think both have done a good job in essence, and I think these type of questions are always going to be brought up when Vieira and Gerrard come up against each other, Vieira and Lampard come up against each other, Gerrard and Lampard come up against each other. So it's just the nature of the beast now, with these kind of ex-Premier League legends coming up against each other.
We just call a spade and just take Lampard out of this equation.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, onto the I don't know if Matt will be happy about that, but yeah, let's just
go on.
By Christmas he'll probably will be out of the equation anyway. Yeah. But players wise, Rich, I do think that other than say the Man Cities and the Liverpools, and our own team, for obviously we get excited about signings that our own team makes, but Palace have to be one of the most exciting teams in the Premier League now with the quality of the players that they've brought in.
You know what is crazy, yeah, and I think this kind of links into our documentary on Channel 4. I don't know if you've been watching it about the whole academy system.
I want to start watching. I want to watch it sort of from the. I keep catching it when it's like halfway through an episode, so I need to like just watch it all.
Like it's crazy. Like when you think Crystal Palace as a club, you think street football. South London is the epicenter of street football. Mm-hmm. Kids in the cage trying out the maddest of tricks and stuff. It's
streetwise as well. Streetwise,
yeah. And then you see how we're playing now as well, and the freedom Vieira is allowing the front players to have. SA against Liverpool. This is Fabinho, like a distinguished international, by the way. Just gliding past him, Wilf moving position up into a centre forward, and there's obviously questions about Van Dijk and his defensive capabilities in our goal, but let's not take away the finish.
Shame we don't have that video for you here now, Rich.
That video is funny. And you look at Elise, 8 million.
Bargain.
It's crazy. We've got Malcolm Abue coming. Who else haven't we looked at? Luke Plange is actually pretty decent as well. Mm-hmm. And the likes of like Edouard and Mateta are currently sitting on our bench, which is mad. So it just shows we've come a long way. We strengthened as well, and it's just exciting times.
Yeah. Talk to me about this guy, because like you say, I mean, from when he was at QPR, I think when Villa were in the Championship, I think he absolutely tore us to bits in the game that we had at Villa Park. And from then I was like, we need to sign this boy. But obviously I think he had his heart set on Palace, and then been quite unlucky with injury, but just come back. And like you said the other night, that goal, to have the kind of awareness, the strength, the balls to take it, on the spin, turn it inside, Fabinho inside out, and then just play that pass, perfect way to pass. And it's almost like he out Brazilian the Brazilian. Like but yeah, just talk to me about Eze.
This guy's incredible. He's so good. And I think he made his return against you guys, I believe, at Sellers Park, because obviously he had a very
he was a bit quiet that game, but obviously just coming back to fitness.
Obviously an Achilles injury, like Vieira. Yeah, it was.
I thought he was back a little bit later than that.
So basically,
I remember him.
He played, I think, maybe 10 minutes or so.
Yeah,
and then he didn't play a few more games after that because like Vieira was really careful with how much minutes he played. Like with it, he started this season with a house on fire. He should have scored against Arsenal, granted. But it's just his natural ability with the ball. He plays it, and I'm not comparing him to Zidane. But you know how Zidane just plays the game at his own pace? That's what Eze does. Like
that's a fair comparison. Yeah,
it's like like a Georgie Hadji or something. Like just used to. Sometimes he drifts out the game, or sometimes he'll just go out on the left wing or right wing. But then he'll pick the right moments to get involved in the play, and then it'll inevitably something will happen. Like he'll set up a goal, he'll have a shot, he'll score, he'll take it around 3 men. It's like he just, like you say, he just plays the game at his own pace and picks and chooses his moments when he does something.
Yeah, and when he does accelerate, my goodness, I didn't realize how quick he was. And he just glides. Absolutely glides. I'm expecting him to get doubled up. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that creates a bit more space elsewhere and stuff. But like you said, that midfield battle is going to be mad.
Yeah, well, talking of midfield, Martin, a player that Villa were heavily linked with. Before I get Rich's views on it, I'll come to you, Martin. But check the core. Seems to have settled in really, really well. Obviously, we got Boubacar Kamara, but is that a player that we've potentially missed out on as well to partner someone like a Kamara in midfield?
Funny enough, when I was on the Eagle Eye Football podcast last night and we were doing a combined 11, and the lads asked me, why did you not put the core in? And I said, well, because both teams generally play with 3 in the midfield, not as in like 1 holding mid and 2 forward. So I had to put 1 in the mid. But if I had to do a 4-2-3-1, I would have had Kamara and Decore next to each other.
Yeah.
That would have been just a filthy look and breaking lads up in midfield. And I'm happy we got Kamara, but I think the link with Decore was for so long though, wasn't it? Like it was really long.
Yeah.
And
we had a guy. We had a guy, Gareth, on giving us the stats, and he was his choice.
But I'm happy he's gone to a club like Palace because he's guaranteed his game time. He's not going to go to a club, say like Spurs or Chelsea, and sit on the bench and hoping to get a game, or West Ham even because Declan Rice and Soucek. I'm happy he's gone to somewhere like Palace because he can play his games. And then other clubs look at him. He's really proven in the Premier League now. So I'm happy for him. That's a great move for him, personally. And against Arsenal, I remember watching the first game of the season, and he wasn't afraid to give a tackle. He was just beast mode. And against Liverpool, like the lad is just incredible. Yeah, I could say with a little bit of disappointment that we missed out on him. But at the same time, we have someone who was cleaning up against Everton and Kamara.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for both clubs. So I'm happy with the way it's turned out that we got Kamara, and I'm also happy for Palace that it worked out for them that they got Decore, because Palace is nearly starting to become like my second club because of these lads.
Oh, you said that. He said it. I'm
going to be 100% honest because of these lads. And I remember I watched the documentary when Eagles Dare, That was just a fantastic
Honestly,
documentary.
that documentary I'm so glad it came out because people fail to realize that 12 years ago we could have been no more.
Mm.
You know?
And I nearly found a newfound love for Crystal Palace because it's the respect that they've just nearly come from nothing to this established playing Premier League football team under Vieira. And I said, and I'm saying it here again now, that I'm going to get their black jersey with the one that they have going down like that because it's really nice. And I said I'll get it. In my family, it's anybody but Man United. That's it.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter what
We
jersey you get.
we might have a transfer to your podcast, Rich. I mean, you never know.
I think he'll be warmly welcomed.
But yeah,
I'll be an honorary Crystal Palace fan
there
whenever.
you are. There you go. But yeah, I mean, Rich Decore, he seems like he's been playing for Palace for years. And I think that's probably the best compliment you could pay him.
Yeah,
he's been brilliant. And what he's allowed the other midfielders to do is just go. You know, we because Kyoto was really good for us, and I'm not going to say he wasn't, but he needed someone right next to him at all times, and I think that maybe even played a part in our game against you at Sellers Park. But now Decore's done well holding there. He definitely he's still trying to get up to the speed of Premiership football because around the 70-minute mark, he's down. The cramp sets in and stuff.
Speed is different.
So he's still trying to get to speed, but as a player,
quality.
He makes the game look so easy. Like he's just almost too composed. Like to the point where I'm thinking he's going to get caught out one day. He's going to get caught out, but he's
it's a bit like Kamara. Like he seems to be on a different wave frequency in terms of the game. Like he brings a ball down from 50 yards in the air, just kills it dead, plays a short pass, plays a long pass the next time, flicks inside some 2 or 3 players, and it's just like you say, it's almost like they're just playing on a different, I don't know whether it's that French league, they get their confidence up because they've got maybe a little bit more time on the ball, so they can work on their technique and work on their touch so much more. But it's I think he's a real good one to watch, and a real, obviously Bruno as well came from the French league for Newcastle, and he's another one who's just playing the game at his own pace. It's crazy to watch him play football, to be honest.
I'm glad you mentioned the Ligue 1 because I know it gets a lot of stick because of, and it's not the league's fault. It's just obviously PSG got that mad influx of money, and no one else can really keep up with them. But when I mean the talent in that league,
it's unreal.
Dumb. It's so good. So
it's also so overlooked because it's PSG.
Farmers League. Like the talent you look at Lens, you look at even Montpellier, they've got some talent there. Monaco look like they're finding their feet again. Marseille, Lyon, it's just players. Just French league is just players like that.
Lille had a good team there for a
while.
Lille,
sorry. Yeah. And even Nice, there's some very good players in these teams, and obviously they're credit to them. They're obviously finding bigger moves to whether it's Germany or the Prem. Not so much the league. I know there's financial issues there and stuff, but there's so much talent coming from the French league.
Yeah. Couple of questions coming in, Rich, from Gary. What's Palace's record transfer?
Unfortunately, I think it's Christian Benteke.
Yeah,
I think it is
28 million, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's never spent more. Sorry, I know that much.
Yeah, he never quite hit the heights for you guys, did he? Never quite hit the heights.
Which is a shame. I thought it would work out because obviously for you guys, you just needed crosses into the box and he was lethal. So I thought, okay, with like a Hodgson or Allardyce and stuff, we could do the same thing. It just didn't materialize for some reason, but
no,
it is what it is.
And then Eze, did Eze have the same injury as Diego Carlos? I don't know if you know too much about what Diego Carlos.
He's done his Achilles as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's literally six months, I believe.
6 to 9 months, depends on rehab.
Yeah. You'll see him next season.
Yeah,
and even that, it's going to be like drips and drabs.
That's the thing. It's such a funny injury. Yeah, it's not just the Achilles; it's everything around the muscles around it.
Yeah,
You know, the trusting of being able to sprint and move quickly and stuff.
and so much load comes from the Achilles
Yeah,
when you're running.
Especially
It's a shame because he started off really well, and you never wish injury on any player. You know, so obviously, hopefully he comes back stronger when he does. But yeah, unfortunately, it's the same one as Eze.
yeah. Well, if Eze's, I mean, I know Eze's a good few years younger, but if he's anything to go by, you know, in the way he's come back this season, then you know, there's a lot of hope there.
Yeah,
The last player we're going to talk about, Rich and Martin, is there's only one man we can talk about, and yeah, Mart, I'll come to you first. Is the player that every team loves to hate. You know, we'd love him in our team, but we hate him when he plays against us, and that's Mr. Zaha. Yeah, I mean, your thoughts? He's just been your thoughts on him, Martin, before I come to Rich.
I've always seen Zaha as a player that he's either in the game and he's so influential, but when he's not, where is he? What does he do? What does he bring to the table then? There's no in between with Zaha, and last season that showed he was non-existent in both of the games against us, especially the one in Villa Park. I remember I was there, and all he was doing was whinging, throwing the arm, doing this to the ref, and the fans were just giving it back to him every time he got the ball. They were booing him. I'm more scared of Eze than I am of Zaha, because Zaha is so 50-50. You're either going to get him at a dangerous pace and he's going to kill you, or you have him in your pocket all game. There's no in between. Like, I mean, but Eze, I'm more scared of Eze because he could just kill a pass, instinct, his movement on the ball, off the ball. Like I said, I'm more scared of Eze than I am of Zaha. Like, I still think Zaha's a great player. You just can't look past Zaha, so you have to keep an eye on him because he will damage you. But Eze is just, for me,
different class,
different gravy altogether.
Yeah. Rich, is Zaha, you know, is he now Palace through and through? Is that what you see from him now? And is he go down as a legend?
Like, he'll go down as a legend regardless. Basically, we're just hoping that the window closes in 2 weeks. Because I think as fans, if he leaves on a free, he leaves on a free. There's not much we can do about it. If he signs a new contract, even better. But what we don't want him to do is move to a Chelsea right now. You know, like, that would kill us. I know we've got replacements already, which is good for us. And I think we're looking at other players like Ismail Sarr. So we are, I think we're forward thinking.
A Croatian guy or something linked.
I can't remember the name.
That Rebic?
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is.
Is it Rebic?
No. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I just saw someone linked the other day. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll try and find out while you're chatting. But yeah, I mean, you know, like, I think Martin summed him up pretty well. To be fair, he's never. Well, I say this now. You know, obviously last season he didn't have his best games against Villa, but I mean,
he will have that in the back of his
14
mind.
14 goals or something.
Yeah.
14 or 15 in the league for a winger is incredible. It's incredible. He'll have that in the back of his
season as well. It was his highest scoring season.
Yeah. Like, Vieira has been working with him, and he said, literally, he came out in one of his early interviews, and he said, the gaffer told me, listen, you can have all the tricks in the world, but where's your output? Where's the assists? Where's the goals? He ended up with 14, 15 goals last season in the league. You know, so he's become a lot more potent. And you saw that, especially with the goal against Liverpool. Like, Alisson's, if not the best goalkeeper out there in the world, and Alisson couldn't reach it. Like, no keeper saving that. You know, it's like Henry-esque in a sense. You know, so he's definitely been working on this finishing. It's a shame he didn't take the second one with his left foot. He would have scored, but instead of hitting the post. But I'm glad in the sense that he drops this. I won't call it showboating, because he likes to express himself, and I don't want to ever say a player can't express themselves on the pitch. But he's a lot more productive. That's the word I'll use. He's a lot more productive now. Plus, Matty Cash has had 2 very good games against him.
Yeah.
That will be in the back of his mind.
Lukic.
Lukic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will materialize.
Still don't know who that is.
We won't see. But he'll have that in the back of the mind that Cash has had 2 very solid games against him, and he will have a plan for that. He will do.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Don't be surprised if he plays up top.
No. I mean, he was up there, wasn't he, against Liverpool? So I think he occupies defenders. That's what he does. And we haven't got Carlos in the team tomorrow, obviously. So it'll be either Konza or Chambers. And I can see Zaha ruffling some feathers. Much like we hope someone like Ollie Watkins will do it at the other end. That
Can
it's
I ask
funny
about Ollie Watkins?
Yeah.
There's this rumor about this bust up. Like, is this true? Because now Everton apparently linked.
I've said it before. This is all media speculation because Tyrone Mings thing, because that the fact that he got his captaincy taken off him, and then we go and lose, and why wasn't he in the squad? Because he was injured. But it was all the media just making more out of it than what it was, and they threw in another name in the hat. Ollie Watkins was trying to defend Tyrone Mings when there was nothing in the first place. If there was a bust up, Tyrone Mings wouldn't have started against Everton, and Ollie Watkins wouldn't have started against Everton.
Yeah. No. I think my suspicions is that Watkins' agent is after a new contract for him. That's my suspicion. So you've got obviously 1 or 2 others have signed extensions to deals. So it doesn't take much for Ollie Watkins' agent to put a couple of pieces in the paper about Leeds interested or Everton interested, or I wouldn't be surprised if they said Palace were interested. And then all of a sudden it might force the hand of Villa to go, oh, we better sign him up to a 20 to 30% pay rise and put him on a new deal. That's my suspicion, because I just can't see Villa selling him unless you had someone in the wings waiting to be signed. I just can't see us selling him. So,
and if we are selling, it's for 80 million, nothing less. Because if
I don't know if we'll get 80 million for him, mate, but we can try.
And Morgan Gibbs-White is 42.5 for a fact. Ollie Watkins is near double the price of them two.
Yeah, but it's a different. Every deal's different, and I think Gibbs White is 25 million, isn't it? And rise into that on certain conditions. I imagine it'll be something like.
No, it's 42.5 up front, rising to 45.
No, it's 25 up front.
For Bissell,
I've waited still too much.
yeah, maybe so, but what the English. What the tax is on English players, so they would have seen Carney Chukwuemeka, who's not even an England under 21 international, going for 20 million, or obviously 15, rising to 20, and then they've said, okay, well, he's already Morgan Gibbs White has played in the Premier League and more games. He's played in the Championship in a playoff chasing side, and he's playing for England under 21s. You're gonna have to come in with 25 million. So. It's just the way it is with young English players. They always go for more than what they're worth, essentially. And also Wolves didn't have to sell, so you got to pay the money for if you want them. But yeah, so on to tomorrow lineups, boys. So your Palace lineup, Richie. Mateta up front, eh? Talk us through your lineup.
I think I do like Edouard. Don't get me wrong. I like Edouard, but I just feel like Mateta is just more defensively awkward to defend against. Edouard's
he was tough against us at Villa Park, actually.
Yeah, Edouard's more of a get it to feet sort of like it, and he links to play well. But I think it will be easier for the defenders, whether Konsa Mings, to kind of keep Edouard in front of him. Whereas Mateta will try and spin him behind, and he'll get his arms like he's awkwardly effective. Like it's mad. His touch will bounce off his shin, but the next minute he's through on goal. Like it's weird, So that's why I've gone for Mateta. I've also chucked in Hughes. I just think we need a bit more bite, especially with someone like McGinn in there. We need someone who's going to mirror that. And I'm a massive fan of McGinn, and I think Hughes he's got a nasty streak to him. where he'll get stuck in. So that's why I've hopefully gone in for Hughes. And if that means he plays in the 2 with Decore, I don't mind that, because then if they could just slot him behind Mateta. I think the back 5 will stay the same, even though I would hope Johnston comes in, but I think he might still be a bit early. And I just want Michael Olise to start. But I don't think he will, because I know Vieira will be mindful of Digne. And most of your good stuff comes down your left-hand side.
Your thoughts on that, on Palace's lineup, Martin? Any? Obviously, you've talked about Eze, which is the obvious danger. And I think Gary asked a question actually before about who on each side decides the game tomorrow. So from a Palace point of view, are you saying that's the key man's Eze, Martin, or Zaha? Or
If I'm John McGinn, I'm staying on his arse all fucking game, because anything he will do, he will look up, like I said, killer pass, split the defense. Doesn't matter if it's going to Elise, Zaha, Mateta, it's going to one of them. So if I'm John McGinn, I'm staying on him all game and just let the rest flow, because if he doesn't have the ball, Palace's flow is going to be disrupted. And I think Rich would agree with me on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I be honest? My player that decides, I'm going to say Anderson.
Yeah, I was actually gonna come to the centre backs, Rich, because from a point of view of Ings, Watkins up top as a 2, or a 3 with Bailey, Buendia / Coutinho, and Watkins probably through the middle. What is the most dangerous for you? Because I don't know if Gay and Anderson are the quickest.
Gay is quick. Anderson,
yeah.
And stuff. But Anderson, he knows he's not quick, but he's so smart. He's so
smart. Position that's just so good,
and his distribution, and that's why I think if he as a obviously centre back pairing, but if Anderson can he's had 2 very good games personally. If he can continue that form, I reckon we can keep a clean sheet, and then it's just left to him, obviously, spraying 60-yard balls left and right.
So what's the preferred front that you would prefer to play against then, in terms of, or would they prefer to play against? Is it a front 3 with like just one up top against them 2, or do they prefer to mark a man each?
Ooh, good question.
I think a modern day centre back can mark 2 lads up top.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the game's changed. I think they would like to stick what they used to. So if things go back to, I think if you play 2, I think we'll have problems.
Yeah,
I think we might have some problems. But then obviously that'll leave one of your creative wide players out, whether it's Bailey or Buendia. So that's a good question, actually.
Yeah. No, it's one of those conundrums that's probably plagued Gerrard throughout his time, is to whether is what works, because you can't get Coutinho and Buendia in the same side. It's difficult to get Watkins and Ings in the same side, because you lose one of those players, then you can't play Leon Bailey, like you said. I'll flash up George and Kev's lineups that they talked about yesterday.
Ooh, no Ings.
So George from the podcast went with Buendia, Bailey, and Watkins up top. So no Ings. Obviously, he said, I think, he's very unlucky to miss out. It seems like he scored the last game, but away from home, Gerrard tends to go with this formation.
Right.
So that's gone with the same midfield: Ramsey, McGinn, and Kamara. And then Kev went for the 2 up top or put it in a 3, but it would interchange. So Watkins, Ings, no Coutinho, Buendia in, and then Louise in for McGinn. Louise in for Ramsey with McGinn and Kamara, and then Chambers at the back.
That's be the one I'd be going with.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer that one. I think Louise probably deserves to come in for Ramsey at the minute, even though Ramsey carried the ball really well, and that might work potentially against Palace. Eze carries the ball well with better output than Ramsey at the moment, but Ramsey does carry the ball well. Luiz, though, I think is just that little bit better as a passer, and I think we probably need to keep the ball a little bit better. And then obviously you've got Buendia, who I think deserves his start after he came on the other day and did so well. And then having someone like Coutinho off the bench isn't a bad substitute option, to be honest. And that's one thing that Villa have really improved on, is the options off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when we look at when we first came up, the options we had on the bench was dire. I mean, what were we going to look at to rely on us to get us a few points? But now we can look at Leon Bailey probably on the bench.
Yeah, did you see our bench back in the day?
Yeah, I know. Connor Wickham and all that.
On this podcast, by the way, yeah.
Yeah.
So the situation's looking good now at the minute. On the bench side of things, it looks like we're trimming the squad down and hopefully add one or two more in. I'm hoping.
Yeah, Jan Bednarak, potentially as a cover centre back. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I mean, he's a solid Premier League player, but
no chance. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be near our club.
Yeah, well,
Southampton.
I just think it's always dodgy when you're signing players that have conceded 9 goals in a game, like 2 or 3 times, across the last few years. So,
Rich, for a second. Rich, how much is Tompkins, by the way? Because I'm not having Jan Bednarak. I'll take Tompkins off,
but 15 million.
Oh,
you can have a packet of Haribo.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Listen, if like I said, if Everton can chuck 45 million at Gordon, listen. We need to be rampant like that in the market too.
Oh, it's crazy. The prices at the moment are just absolutely.
A packet of Haribos and a bottle of Coke. Is that a deal?
Make it 2 packets of Haribo.
When you get to the game tomorrow. Yeah. So before we finish up and get your predictions, obviously we're chatting backstage in the green room, lads, and Martin is actually travelling across from Ireland.
Say that again.
He's travelling across to watch the game live. I don't know how he's going to get down when he flies over. I don't know how he's going to get down to Crystal Palace on the train, but we'll see. We'll get there. But Martin, tell us about your trip tomorrow and what you're most looking forward to.
Well, I have a flight tomorrow now at 10 to 9 in the morning. So I'll be in London, I'd say around 10 o'clock. Straight to the train station, wherever I have to go on the maps. Not too sure where I have to go. I have it all sussed out. Go to the hotel, probably drop my bag, probably ring Rich.
Yeah.
Where is he? He'll probably tell me I'm too busy with Steph. Sorry, lads. But and looking forward to the game. Like, I mean, I'm sitting in the home end, so
you're gonna have to sit on your hands if Villa score.
Like, I bought this hoodie today, Villa colour, and I'm just gonna blend in with the crowd, like, so it just look like I support Villa. So, because the last thing I need is jumping up and go, what you mean that was not also? So I'm looking forward to it, and then after, I think we're going for doing a fan cam, I think, and then going for a meal, a few drinks.
Yeah, celebratory drinks. You hope, Martin? Celebratory drinks.
And believe me, I'll be on my own and crying in a pub somewhere, probably playing it. And going back to Jordan's place then to watch Usyk versus Joshua, which I'm hoping for an Usyk win, being an Irishman.
Ooh.
Sorry, lads. I'm there now.
Usyk's gonna win anyway. In my
I know.
If Joshua doesn't knock him out in 6, it's good.
Do you see the video with your man on Sky Sports is saying like how Joshua can beat Usyk, and he's doing all this coming in close with your man. And I'm there looking at this like, lads, shut up.
Yeah, he's got to get within distance to do that. Yeah. It's always easy. It's always easy to say it, but no, Martin. I hope you have a great day, mate. And that shows real commitment. To travel over, mate. And hope you have a great day. And I'm sure Rich and the boys will look after you. So enjoy it. So I'll come to you first, Mark. predictions for tomorrow. Are you staying consistent? Did you give a prediction yesterday? Are you staying consistent with your prediction, or has Rich put the fear of God into you with his Eze and Zaha talk?
No, I'm going to stick to it. Normally, this game is always decided by the odd goal. There's never been a clean sweep of a 4-0 or 5-0 or 3-0, whatever it might be. I've said 2-1 Villa. I'm going to stick to it. I think Watkins will score. We always predict Watkins to score. We have to back our striker. I think Buendia might get another goal, hopefully. And I'm going to say Anderson will score from a corner.
Oh, yeah, we're not great off corners. I think
Yeah.
it's two teams that aren't particularly great off corners, to be honest. Yeah. Richie,
Right.
what are you saying?
But then, if both teams are shite at corners, it's 4-all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Palace.
Have to back your game too, yeah.
I'm gonna go Zaha brace.
Ooh.
And who's going to give it to
Who's
Zaha?
getting the consolation for Villa?
I won't be surprised if you take the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's doing it? Watkins, you going for? Ings?
Bundia.
At this rate, it'll probably be cash again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like Matty Target scored last season at Sellers. Yeah. Target him again. I'm gonna go 1-0 Villa. Yeah, I think as we've all said,
A clean sheet.
Yeah, I think we'll keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I think we'll frustrate. I think it'll be one of those games that Gerrard loves, where it's just boring, and we just manage to get the win, like we shithouse a victory somehow. So yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0, and I'm gonna go Chambers. I'm gonna go Chambers if he starts.
Chamberdino.
Yeah. Like it's going to be a set piece goal. I think you're right in terms of the set piece side of things.
Maybe one like you did at Leeds. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. James is saying 3-1 Villa. Wow, that is confidence for you. McGinn, Watkins, and Ings. That is big confidence.
Richard's face when he's 3-1.
Eh? Yeah, his face. Yeah. I don't know about that one, but yeah, it's going to be a good game, and two teams that are looking to push on in the table, and both teams will be saying that this is a game that if they want to get up to the top 10, top 8, it's a game that they should be winning. So probably be a draw. Rich, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Tell everyone where they can find you. I hear that you broke the 1,000 subscribers barrier, so massive well done on that, mate. But yeah, tell everyone where they can find you to subscribe to your channel.
Yeah, so you can find us on Eagle Eyed Football. Yeah, we just have a laugh.
Yeah, it is. Anyone watch it? It is crazy. Who hasn't watched it before? It's a great fun.
And take it from me, first-hand experience being there. It is a laugh.
Yeah, there's some great characters, and most of the time it goes crazy in the comments. And Rich does a very, very good job of trying to hold it all together.
I can't. Half the time, I'm trying to keep my composure, and then Vibes will say something mad.
Remember when Santi said, like, you know, he's driving around for the hotspot when Nippon was in his car?
Yeah, they're So yeah, please check out his channel. It's great. And on what are you on? Are you the same on Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. Just type in Eagle Eyed Football, you should find us. Twitter, there wasn't enough characters, so it's Eagle Eyed Ball.
Good stuff. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure. I'm sure we'll return the favor. And obviously, Martin was on your show last night. But yeah, anytime, mate. Anytime you need us on. If you want to have a laugh at our expense, then yeah, please get us on.
We haven't beaten you for a while, so I'm keeping no banter. Let's just hope for a good game tomorrow.
I'm hoping for a celebrate the champagne and one.
Yeah, you will see, Martin. We'll see. But yeah, Martin, have a great day tomorrow. Thanks for jumping on, mate. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, please make sure you check us out on Twitter at at Villa Park Pod. And please check us out on Instagram at Villa Park Pod. Please give the video a like if you haven't already, and please give us a subscribe. We are on the way to I think we're 3 away from 225, on the way to 300. So yeah, give us a shout. And, everyone, bye bye.